listen to you. But if they don't, if they just push back, they don't want to take any responsibility, they don't care about the way you're feeling, then this is a signal. This is a signal to not be ignored, because actually the people who love and care about you should love and care about you. Welcome to States Unlock, the place to learn about social psychology, human behaviour, and also learn practical tips on how you can improve your life. If you'd like to understand yourself and others better, be sure to hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and like this video if you like the video. And without further ado, I will crack on with the topic of the video, which is stonewalling. So what is stonewalling? Stonewalling, some other terms for stonewalling could be giving the cold shoulder or icing someone out. And essentially what it is when someone puts up an energetic block in order to communicate that they have a problem. And it's a very maladaptive defense, in my opinion. So it is a defense mechanism, and it is a way we try to protect ourselves by letting the other person know that something they've done is not okay for us, and we communicate this via silence or just basically changing our behavior in some kind of way. Now, this could stem from a whole host of different situations, but one situation could be that you may have tried to speak to someone before and it has been poorly received. It has been met with invalidation, or it has been met with kind of anger or something like that, some sort of pushback. And because of this, you feel that you aren't able to express your emotions. But that doesn't work, because you just can't suppress your emotions. Literally, if you do suppress it, it will come out in some kind of way. So this can be, as I said, a maladaptive form of coping, and it definitely isn't an effective way of communicating. But the reason we do it is because we may not have other tools to use. Now, I've done this before. I think a lot of people have done this before, but it is essentially passive aggressive. And I don't think this is to say if you do this, that you are purposefully being passive aggressive, but it is something that is very avoidant in nature, because you essentially are avoiding whatever it is that's bothering you. And avoidance is a topic I definitely want to come back to, because avoidance is very problematic in interpersonal relationships, and it can really lead to a lot of problems, a lot of misunderstandings, and unnecessary broken connections, and just strained relationships in general. And it's something that's really, confrontation is something that's, very challenging for a lot of us, for most of us, I would say. And, at least a lot of us. I don't know if it's most of us, but the point is that stonewalling, it definitely is something that you can change. The first thing is to become conscious of it, because if you wouldn't like someone doing that to you, the chances are you shouldn't be doing that to someone else. And, you may be with an anxious individual or have someone who's anxious who responds to this kind of behavior, but that does not mean it is something that is a good way to do. It's a good way to behave, because it isn't. It is not a good way to behave. It can verge into being slightly abusive, but also it's not overtly abusive, but it can be that way. And as I said, it's not to say it's something that we're doing on purpose. It's something that we're doing because we think, oh yeah, I'm going to make the other person feel bad. Or maybe we do want the other person to feel bad, but that's because they made us feel bad. But that's really not what we really want. It's just because we want to feel, I guess we want to feel vindicated if that's the case. But the whole point is that we generally want people to know how we feel and to actually acknowledge how we feel. And the only reason we may revert to a behavior like that is because we just don't feel that by communicating we're going to be listened to or validated. I just want to quickly interrupt this video just to say that I am offering life coaching services. You can check them out on my Patreon. I am completely new at this, and I am looking for 5 guinea pigs. I only have 5 spots. Okay, so if you are interested in getting life coaching to help you with anything from interpersonal relationships to personal fulfillment in your career or otherwise, please get in touch. I would love to help you. And back to the video. So not everyone is going to validate your feelings, sadly. Not everyone is that kind of way, but that's why I would encourage you to surround yourself with people who are that kind of way, because that are going to validate the way you feel, because everyone deserves to be validated. But not only do they deserve to be validated, not invalidated, not only do they deserve to be validated, but it is necessary for health. We need to validate ourselves. We need to be validating other people. And some of the reasons as well why we might revert into this kind of behavior is because we feel that we aren't worthy of being listened to on some kind of level, or that, because we've learned that somewhere along the line that, if I speak my feelings, this person's not going to give a crap. They're not going to care, and it's just not going to lead anywhere good. But yeah, as I said, the problem with that is you can't suppress your emotions. You just can't do it. It doesn't work because, they're gonna come out in some kind of behavior or some kind of pattern in the body. So or like in the way you behave, as I say. And people don't like it. People don't like this kind of way of behaving. It's not effective. It doesn't build connection. And this is a really important point to talk about, because trust is so vital in relationships, whether that be romantic relationships, familial relationships, or friendships. And when trust starts being broken, it can be really hard to repair. I'm not saying it's impossible to repair, but the more damage that you tend to accrue, it can just be harder to come back from. And these kinds of behaviors definitely don't build connection. They just build you further, push you further and further and further apart. Now, if you are with someone and let's say you are listening to this video and you're like, right, I need to confront an issue that's been bothering me and I need to actually speak my feelings out. Obviously, there are many ways you can do that, and some are going to be effective, some are going to be ineffective. And it's really important to actually think about the things you want to say and the main messages you want to communicate, while also not being attacking, because unfortunately human beings tend to be very defensive. They get very defensive very quickly, and we can just be very sensitive. And so it can be a bit of a tightrope, and this is another reason why you can avoid situations, because it can just seem so overwhelming and stressful and tiring that you just don't want to do it. But I would urge you, with the relationships that you think are worth it, to do it, because actually you can overcome problems. You may very well be pleasantly surprised that someone may listen to you. You may have this projection onto this person that they would behave in that way because you've been treated that way in the past and invalidated or not listened to or something like that. But actually, as long as you're respectful, there's no reason why the other person shouldn't listen to you. But if they don't, if they just push back, they don't want to take any responsibility, they don't care about the way you're feeling, then this is a signal. This is a signal to not be ignored, because actually the people who love and care about you should love and care about you. They should want to know how you're feeling. And even if they don't necessarily feel comfortable with what you're saying, they shouldn't dismiss it out of hand, because this is definitely not a show of love. This is not a show of respect. And it is a sign that perhaps it's time to distance yourself from that person. So I don't want to go on too long with this video, but stonewalling is definitely something that I would like to perhaps come back to, because, it's one of many different defenses we can have. And I think that, defense mechanisms are designed essentially to protect us, but we have to remember that sometimes they can harm us because they may not be effective, and they may be our instinct, the thing that is like, yeah, do that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you should listen to, because that could just be coming from a habitual way of thinking that is maladaptive, that you could have been doing since you were a child. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that just because that's your go-to, that that's the best thing to do. And that's true with like many behaviors, that you may think, oh, well, this is what I've always done, this is what feels right. But you just have to actually look at, like, is this helping me or harming me? Does it actually work? Does it build what I want? And be brave enough to try something different, because, if you try something different, it doesn't work out, it's no big deal. It doesn't have to be this huge deal. It's just that you've tried something. So as I said, definitely become conscious of when you are stonewalling, and just start to do more internal inquiry. Like, what am I trying to get out of this? What am I trying to make the other person feel? What am I trying to get the other person to do? And, most of the time, internal inquiry is the best way to, it's the only way, to find our own answers to things. It's, the most important thing, because we actually have a lot of answers ourselves, but we often don't actually tap into our internal core to actually, find out what's going on with us. So that's the first thing to do. And then I would say purposefully do the opposite. So in DBT, this is known as opposite action. So it is to purposefully do the opposite thing. It's exactly what it says it is. And to see how that turns out, because we have these different aspects of ourselves. So we could have the aspect that is mature and whatnot, and that knows what's best to do, and then another aspect which is petty and holds on to grudges and doesn't want to communicate things. And really it depends which side we want to listen to, and the more you listen to the petty side, the stronger it's going to become. So you really do have to try to break that pattern. I think it's something within all of us where we can have these little egoic defenses, but we need to actually ask ourselves, are these effective? Are they helping me? And are they bettering my life, or are they harming me? So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I would love to hear what you think in the comments. Also, if you could like the video, it really helps to push this video out to more people. And if you could share it with someone that you think could benefit from it, that would be amazing too. And I really just want to say thanks very much for watching, and I will see you on the flip side. Ciao for now.